very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Mike. You're right. We got mugged at the Emirates yesterday.
You certainly did.
It was.
I couldn't help laughing, I have to say.
And do you know what was really nice about it? If you can take anything nice about it,
right.
Is that everybody knows that I was with Don Walcott, who is Theo's father.
Yes, because you mentioned it once or twice
well,
before the
I
game.
put a picture out of Don and I, because it's an historic occasion for Don. It's the last time he was going to be there, and
is he giving up the box?
Yes, yes. Had a fun. Well, Theo doesn't play for Arsenal anymore. We were there yesterday as Everton fans, right?
Oh, okay.
But his major concern, as the goals started rolling in, was pointing to the other end of the stadium and saying, "Those poor 4,000, okay." These guys had come down.
Everton fans had come down, yes.
Absolutely, come down.
Wasted trip, right?
No, not a wasted trip at all. Not at all. That's how you show your passion for your team. And by the way, the weather was horrendous.
It was awful.
It was raining. It was cold.
We had
it was
snow
blustery.
in Sussex this morning.
Snow in Sussex this morning.
You weren't sitting outside though, were you? You were sitting inside.
Oh yes, sitting inside.
So you weren't actually feeling the.
Oh no. Sorry, everywhere in the Emirates is covered. We had lunch inside the box, but then the seats are outside, outside the windows. You know, which is great because it puts you closer to the atmosphere of the game. But his main concern was that some of those lads at the other end, 4 or 5 of them, would pile into the back of a van and drive north, 2 hours to get out of London, on the M1 and all that kind of stuff, and not get home till midnight.
They'd go up the M1 to the M6, I presume, would they?
And then turn left, yeah, of course it would, yeah.
Or would they take the M40, maybe?
No, they wouldn't take the M40, I wouldn't think. No,
because that's right closer to Arsenal, isn't it? You get on the North Circular Road, straight on the...
No, Arsenal's in North London. It's right at the...
I know exactly where
it's right at the mouth of the M1.
I'm from North London.
Well, you were years ago, yeah.
No, I'm from North London, and I still live in London, unlike you, who is from Chester, but moved away because you hated it so much, and you refused to help out your local team.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, obviously, it was shocking to see those goals rattling in, 1, 2, 3, 4 by half-time. Sam Allardyce afterwards, he said, it's pathetic, we were no good and all that.
He's right, isn't he?
Well,
he says he's very angry.
Yeah. What I don't understand is, in the middle of last week, we beat Leicester, who are a fine team. We beat them 2-1 with a particular formula, and Seamus Coleman was very...
Well, to be fair, Leicester are not Arsenal, though, are they?
They're not Arsenal, but they're a very decent team. They're a very good team. They've got Jamie Vardy and all that kind of stuff. And Seamus Coleman, we assume couldn't play yesterday because he's still recuperating from a terrible leg break.
Yes.
And 90 very strenuous minutes in the week. He was rested yesterday. Didn't even seem to be in the squad, actually.
Right.
But what I couldn't understand was why there were 5 changes to the Everton team that had, got 3 points in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And why Wayne Rooney, who, you have to admit...
You tweeted out as much, didn't you? You said you don't understand why Wayne Rooney doesn't start for Everton.
Well, Wayne Rooney's a big game player. And there's not a bigger stadium in this country, apart from Old Trafford, where big games take place, than the Emirates.
What about Anfield?
I don't think Anfield's up to 61, is it?
Well, it's
around. It's around. Yeah, it's around that. But what I'm saying is, traditionally we regard Old Trafford as the biggest club ground, and then Emirates, and then...
No, but in terms of playing big clubs, I mean, you'd have to include Liverpool, you'd have to include Manchester City.
It's big Emirates. What I'm saying is, it was a big game, because Theo Walcott, in his 3rd game for Everton, was going back to his old club.
I mean, maybe
there was a big occasion.
Maybe there was a reason why Rooney wasn't ready, or he wasn't fit.
He was ready. He's a big game player, and he should have been there. So I was very disappointed with all of that. But at the end, there was quite an amusing incident, because... everybody was packing up, and it was so nice to see that, the World Cup extended family was there, and some of the children, all that kind of stuff.
It didn't look as if they'd managed to paint it blue, however.
No, I think that was just a bit of a...
You said they were going to paint it blue.
I think I was saying that tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
you being economical with the truth.
Teasing.
It's not like you.
No, I was teasing. So anyway, at the end, there's these 4 pictures in the box, and great pictures of Theo, one of them holding the FA Cup.
Yes.
One of them just after he scored a goal in the FA Cup final, the winning goal in the FA Cup final, in that one in the blue and yellow stripe and all that kind of stuff. And so a phone call was made to somebody to, please could you come and take these pictures of the boy, we want to take them home.
Yes.
It's our box and all that kind of stuff. To be told, Mr. Walcott Sr., well, you can have the images themselves, which are inside the frames, but you've got to leave the frames here.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
some kind of job's worth.
I mean, Arsenal's a £1 billion club, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
And a player who
Arsene
served
Wenger
them,
alone makes £7.5 million a year, doesn't he?
He does. A player who served them for 12 years, right, was not allowed to take the pictures off the walls of the box
ridiculous.
that he had also rented.
That tells you all you need to know about what's wrong with this country.
For 12 years, and take the pictures home. He was told, no, you'll have to take the actual picture itself. You have to take
did he take it out of the frame then?
I can't tell you what Don said to that, because, I mean, the insinuation was, we'll take the back of the frame, take the glass out, take the image, and obviously you can go, you get the images anywhere, but they're beautifully crafted in dark wood, and they look marvellous.
Also, if an individual image has been framed, it doesn't necessarily mean that frame will work on any other image.
No, you're absolutely right. But the other thing is,
bonkers.
Who else will want them? I mean, it's so ludicrous, So somebody else takes the box over. It might be a new player. It might be a new businessman or something like that. He might want other images and pictures on the wall.
Of course.
So I thought it was extremely petty and small-minded.
Very petty.
And doesn't show Arsenal in a very good light at all.
And, of course, what we didn't find out was whether or not Theo Walcott would have actually celebrated a goal if he scored one, because he nearly scored one, but he didn't actually, so we never saw what happened there. But we'll come back to that game, because we want to kick off, we want to get some calls up first.
Of course
on this Gareth Southgate scenario. Now, Pep Southgate is what I call him, but George says, I always thought Gareth Guardiola's got more of a ring to it. I think that may be better.
That's
quite
like
good. Gareth Guardiola. But Gareth Guardiola, talking to Guillaume Balaguer there in the last hour, exclusive interview, where he talks about a great many things, most of which would actually put, I think, a possum to sleep. This is a guy who's got absolutely no get up and go. He's got absolutely no sort of.
Well, he's professorial.
He's got no rigour about him.
He's professorial.
Well, if he was professorial, right, he would be at least academically kind of and intellectually challenging. But he's not.
Do you know what Do you know the thing I most disliked about what he said?
What?
He has now gone snowflake. Okay.
Yeah, he has.
And snowflake means
full
that, you mustn't ask anybody to take responsibilities for their own actions. So he's saying too much of a burden for one man to be England captain.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yes.
It is a fantastic tribute,
of course it's
challenge,
a great honour.
Opportunity and honour to be the captain of the England football team.
And I mean, footballers alone, you can criticise footballers for a great many things, but what you cannot criticise them for is a lack of cojones, a lack of bravery,
absolutely, that's what they do.
A lack of willingness to take on a challenge. They all want to step up and take the penalty. They all want to be the leader of the club. They all want the glory.
Yeah. I think old Gareth Guardiola.
I like this, Gareth Guardiola.
Must have forgotten that when you walk into Wembley Stadium, you walk, if you're going to a decent seat.
Well, I just see the Crystal Palace cheerleaders there talking of snowflakes. I'm surprised somebody's not out there waving a banner trying to cover them all up.
They're called the Crystalettes.
The Crystals, aren't they?
They're called the Crystals, that's right, or the Crystalettes, something like that. And I've asked whether their leader might come and talk to us towards the end of the show to see what sort of response they got from the crowd. Now that young ladies apparently are offensive to male audiences. And by the way, at Palace, I think you've got more than 50% of the audience who are females, and who have shown no objection to it whatsoever.
Family club, absolutely right.
But getting back to old Gareth Guardiola, you walk past a statue on your way into Club Wembley. The statue is of Bobby Moore, the greatest ever England captain, the man who led us to World Club glory. Do you not think that we should try and replicate the image of Bobby Moore in a new captain to lead a new England to new glories? Because I do.
I think we should.
Have you forgotten who Brian Robson is?
I haven't forgotten who he is.
No, is he? Has Gareth Guardiola forgotten who Brian Robson is?
Well, I don't know what's in his head half the time, because he doesn't actually explore very many things apart from ridiculous points. Now, we're going to take your calls on this in a moment. 08717 22 3344. Let's just have a listen to what he says about the England captaincy.
If you're the captain, when you lose, you've got to be the one that faces the media. You've got to stand up for everything. So there's no doubt there are times, I think, for any captain where it detracts a little bit from your personal performance, because you've got to give of yourself for the club, for your teammates, for everything, really. And
is that why you're sharing the responsibilities now with the national team, so they don't have to bear that?
I think there's partly that, because I think it's important that responsibility is shared. I think I've experienced it myself, but also seen it with England, where too much falls on a few players, and other players are able to slide under the radar without actually having to face the music if we lose or if things don't go so well. And also, to win matches, different people have to step up at different times and take responsibility. It might be a defender, it might be a fullback, it doesn't always have to be the creative midfielder or the centre forward. So trying to give people some experience of leadership, trying to share the responsibility. But also, I'm aware that, I've said before, when Wayne, as captain of England, shouldered huge responsibility in everything, and I didn't think that was fair.
What's an idiotic statement?
For God's sake.
Give people experience of leadership. No, leaders emerge, Gareth. Leaders emerge.
If you give somebody leadership quality and you give them something to lead, they will become leaders. That's the whole point. 08717 22 3344. Pep Southgate, Gareth Guardiola, whatever you want to call him. It's not working for me, Mr. Parry, I'm afraid. We will come back to it in a moment.
And he doesn't want an England captain, but I want an England captain. I want you to tell me I'm right in wanting an England captain.
As long as it's not Wayne Rooney, obviously. Let's cross the going on with the muggers? What's happening with that? What's the latest on the muggers?
On the muggers?
Yeah, the guys who viciously attacked you as you were trying to get out of your car the other night.
Don't want to say too much.
Really?
But, I mean...
Have they caught them yet?
Well, I don't want to say too much, but at 2:15 in the morning to be assaulted by
I thought it was 2 o'clock.
It was 2:15
2:15?
Yeah, to be assaulted by two thugs who had motorcycle helmets on, which they were trying to headbutt me with, but of course I dodged.
I thought you were on the ground.
I was kicked to the ground.
So how are they headbutting you if you're on the ground?
They headbutted me to the ground.
Did they?
Yeah, I got the headbutt before I got on the ground.
So where did they headbutt you?
On the head, usually headbutt somebody, don't you?
Well, you usually headbutt somebody in the face, actually. You normally break their nose.
Well,
so a guy headbutts you with a crash helmet.
Yes.
And yet you have no mark.
Well, I do. I pointed it out to you before. I said I've got a terrible headache and I've got a mark on my head.
Well, how tall was this guy? About 6'11".
No.
Well, he headbutts you on the top of the head.
Do you know what? This thug attacker was actually smaller than me, believe it or not.
Well, how did he get you to the top of the head?
Because he pulled me forward. He grabbed hold of my coat and tried to pull me forward. He was wrestling me to the ground.
All right.
And then put the nut on me. You see what I mean?
So he put the nut on the top of your head?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And
how bizarre.
And, of course, I fought them off. They wanted to take the keys to my £60,000 car and disappear with it. However, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much.
Right.
But...
Have they been identified yet? Hey? Why are you singing the tune of the Sweeney?
Well, you see, it might not just have been a random attempt to steal a car.
Oh, you mean somebody knew you? They knew you?
No, I'm not saying somebody knew me. I'm saying that...
Well, it was random then.
No, because the thing is, the big question was, hang on, if two, kids aged about 19 or 20 or 21...
How do you know how old they were, though?
I don't know, I've no idea, but they looked about that age to me.
I thought you said you couldn't see their faces.
Well, I could see one of the faces, because one guy had a full visa over his helmet.
Visa,
but the other one had an open face...
Open-faced visa?
Open-faced visa, yeah. and I managed to poke him in the face with... that's the one punch I got in.
You told me you could only see his eyes.
His eyes and his nose.
Oh, his nose now.
I got his nose, yeah.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is...
His nose bleeding when you hit it.
What I'm saying is, the question was... No, I don't think it was, actually. I've got no blood on me, anyway. But the...
You've got a mark on you.
One of the...
Amazing.
Well, that's because I
you float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
I rolled with the punches.
What?
Literally rolled with the punches.
Literally?
My coat's ruined. I was rolling around in,
No, it's not.
cement
you
and dust.
You had the coat on yesterday. Looked fine.
No, it wasn't the same coat.
You told me yesterday it was the same coat. You were dusting it down.
It wasn't
You
the same
said, look,
coat.
it's got all this dust on it.
Believe me, it wasn't the same coat.
Oh, right.
And the thing is that the question has to be asked, where would they have taken that car at 2:15 in the morning?
Well, that's what I said to you yesterday.
When the streets are fairly deserted.
Well, didn't we say it would be hard for them to even start the car because it actually is quite complicated to do that?
If they had been doing this before, if they were Fagin-type people and sent up other people, to steal cars.
They were pickpockets, weren't they?
But they would have to have known the intricate working of the electronic gear selection box in my car.
What do you mean, the automatic lever?
No.
Which you put it into drive
No.
Well, how do you start it then?
There's a procedure to start it, which I'm not going to go into live on air in case anybody else thinks of nicking my car. Thank you.
You put your key in the ignition, right?
No, there is no key.
So you press a button to start.
No. I'm not telling you.
So you don't press a button.
I'm not telling you anything of that.
In the ignition.
The point is,
like magic.
The thought is that there was a lock-up garage somewhere about 10 minutes away, and that car would have been driven to that lock-up garage. It would have been locked up.
Where would that be? Like Weybridge or somewhere?
Maybe somewhere like that. Or
Sutton.
And Epsom, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And somebody would have started working on that car at that time.
What, you mean change the colour into something palatable?
Not the colour, but changing the hallmarks on the chassis and all that kind of stuff, and the number plates and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And within by today, it would have been on the continent. That's the thought.
Well, I mean, sometimes they steal these cars to order.
That's what I'm
somebody
saying.
Says, I'd quite like a really, really hideous coloured E-Class Mercedes that looks a bit like a C-Class Mercedes. Okay. But it's right-hand drive.
Right. And so, has anybody ever tried to nick your heap of junk? The one that you managed to skewer onto a pole?
You mean Car of the Year?
Has anybody managed to steal it? Has anybody ever attempted to...
Not that I know of.
No. They don't steal your heap of junk, mate, because it's not a valuable enough car.
I see.
And it's not rare enough,
You think you've got a more expensive car than me, therefore it's better?
More expensive.
I don't think your car is any more expensive than mine.
Yes, it is. And
how much do you pay for it?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, how can you not tell how expensive it is then?
Well, because I know.
Why are you boasting about how expensive your car is?
I'm not boasting at all.
You're all saying you're a man of the people, but in fact you're a millionaire.
Not at all.
But you never want to give out any details.
Not at all. Now, I think we should get back to the football, right?
I bet you do.
Because
I'll quiz you some more later.
If you wish, you can. But
have you been down to the police station yet?
I have.
Have you?
Yes.
What did they say?
I don't want to discuss that, please. That was in confidence. Okay.
Was it? Okay. What police station did you go to?
I'm not going to tell you because certain details of the inside operation, as I think that might have happened.
Yes.
I am not at liberty to divulge.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. Well, let's go back to the football because, of course.
Sport.